Good afternoon, everyone. This is a Boston Independent Drivers Guild coming to you live and in living color from Faneuil Hall. We have a little bit of a delay because of the rain. The newscasters are just getting set up. It is Happy National Gig Workers Safety Day. And all the gig workers out here, we love you, we appreciate you, and we are here for you. Hey, who are you?
And we'd like to see we highlight the dangers and safety risks of being a driver or a worker. Among many of them, which is the lack of job security. So we'll see what we have a lot of drivers today about health and safety issues for myself. You know, you see every veteran driver's got a bit of a belly for myself. That's one thing that doesn't get talked about. It's about preventative safety, preventative maintenance. You know, one day when we're all employees and we all have health insurance for our union, we get periodic, regular checkups from our doctors, maybe a nutritionist as well.
Okay, nice to meet you, Raheem. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
I forgot. I keep forgetting to bring my tripod, and it actually folds up like this big, but it goes really high. But it's the best thing ever.
As a power lifter, I have one. You always still my leg.
Show you. Yeah. How many different sizes? Yeah.
¿Cuál quiere? good. How are you doing? Gosh.
Hello, everyone. Going up in the rain. I know it's found. Thanks for coming. We've gathered here to acknowledge the impact of free lives they take to drive a report of 1 hour horrific death, injuries, loss by not taking necessary steps to make sure, like training drivers, training people with a history of unsafe driving and driving people, training passengers with low rating for safety violence, being able to book Uber or Lyft. Let's be clear, it is unacceptable for billion-dollar corporations to abandon their workers and consumers to horrific accidents worse. They receive a basic safety caution we all would expect other corporations. Big tech corporations like Uber, Lyft, they're motivated by one thing, their bottom line. They have shown time and time again that they will do just about anything to make an extra buck, even if it's the expense of drivers and passengers' pocketbooks, safety, or even their lives. In Massachusetts, we have strong labor laws designed to rein negligent companies in and make them prioritize safety even if they don't want to. But big tech doesn't want to follow the rules. They think that they're exempt, that they're special. And that's why they're pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into rewriting the rules, the laws, with their ballot question here in Massachusetts. This ballot question would exempt Lyft and Uber from legal liability for accidents and injuries. That means that if it were to pass, the corporations could get away scot-free for accidents, for injuries, for death that they cause due to failing to ensure safety for both passengers and drivers. Nothing is more important than our health and safety. And what these corporations are trying to jeopardize with their ballot question, whether you're an Uber driver, picking up strangers in a place far from your home, a parent whose college-age child takes ride shares to get around, or someone who occasionally uses these app-based services, you should not have to fear for the safety of yourself or your loved ones every time you interact with these platforms. We have an incredible lineup of speakers here today, including Marcy Goldstein-Gelb, the National Director of the Coalition for Occupational Safety and Health, and Matt Parker, who's the Executive Director of the United Union of Minority Neighborhoods. We also have some drivers that you will hear from. And we also have a special guest joining us here today, Elizabeth Good, the sister of Will Good. As many of you know, Will was a 30-year-old chef in Somerville. He called Uber after a long day of work last year, suffered a horrific accident, and
hands of the company would allow a person with a history of unsafe driving to pick Will up that evening. Since a terrible accident that left him a quadriplegic, Will has become a leading national voice demanding that big tech corporations be held responsible for passengers and driver safety. Now I'll hand it off to Jonathan Paz, our organizing director, and today's MC. Thank you.
Woohoo!
Thanks so much, everyone, for being here. In the spirit of solidarity, we're here to commemorate people who have lost their lives, are being injured, assaulted on the job, and being neglected, as Wes mentioned. I want to read part of the scripture here of my faith. We don't need to be exclusive of any faith particularly, but we're also here to commemorate some of those who have lost their jobs across the country as frontline workers, making sure that people can get to where they need to go. So this, by all means, is not an exclusive spiritual reading. Corinthians 1, 15, 42, 44. So will it be with the resurrection of the dead, the body that is sown is perishable. It is raised imperishable. It is sown in dishonor. It is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness. It is raised in power. And it is sown a natural body. It is raised a spiritual body. If there is a natural body, there is also a spiritual body. Today, we're here as the spiritual body, trying to uplift and provide some poetic justice for those who have lost their lives on the job. This is National Dig Safety Day, and we hate to do this, but we need to do it because people have lost their lives. I want to read some of the names of folks that we know. The part of the problem is that we don't know everyone who has lost their lives driving as gig workers. And that's part of the transparency that we need to have. So I will read the names and then we'll hold a moment of silence. And I apologize if I mispronounce some of these names. Ahmed Fawad Usufi, Ahmed Badal, Bedovin Kashakunte, Brandon Cooper, Theoni Riley, Cherno Ches Sese, Cheryl McCormack, Christina Raymond, David Rosenthal, Dulkar Karim Masem, Elijah Newman, Philip Kirilov, Francisco Villalba Vipino, Franklin Ferens, Danu Gondanu, Glyman Nelson, Grant Nelson, Hamza Farah, Harold Treadwell, Hertz Presentu, Isabella Lewis, Javier Ramos, Joseph Selstrick, Joshua Miller, Kelly Marie Smith, Christian Phillips, Christina Huadu, Christopher Metzger, Kuldeep Singh, Lamar French, Lynn Murray, Maglo Medina Chavez, Michael Wallace, Minzy Zhu, Madhu Diakne, Mohammed Anwar, Maurice Foster, Noel Njoku, Petra Roden, Randolph Talk, Raquel Spawn Bava, Robert Douglas Barry, Roderick Thomas, Roseanne Delgado, Ryan Moonsey Graham, Saludin Bablu, Stacy Corley, Terrell Harris, Timothy Perkins, Yusuf Al-Gabar, and Yusuf Osgur. We say their names because their names must be said. And we need justice. We don't need an exploitative law, and we don't need better ways to point black and brown and immigrant folks or the predominant folks to make this business enterprise as possible. Today, I will be presenting some folks here to share some stories. We're going to start with Andy. Everybody here. Who do you work for? Random. Who do you work for? Come here. Let's share your story. I was coming in the West from 2099, up from 1999. Since 2002, I was working for taxi driver ITOA. And after that, I spent like 10 years working for ITOA taxi company. And I joined Uber on 2014 to 2017. 2017 is not a lot of years for me. I've been robbed by a passenger. I pick up the passenger next to South Station and then go to Newtown. And then after that, the guy put a gun on me and asked me for all I got on me. I give him, I got a $235 in my pocket. He took the money and then he left. Okay? And at the same year, I got 3 moving violation tickets. They shut down my app was into, and then since it was a big fight for me for finding job. Every each time they tell me your background check is not clean, your background check is not clean. Okay? And also I want to mention that every driver in this system, be careful. You don't know what person is gonna pick up. Just be careful in the street. You never know. Okay? Until the person walk away and find your car and then play. All right? Thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing your story.
Thanks so much. I also just would like to mention that this is in partnership with the Union of Minority Neighborhoods, La Colaborativa. We're here with also the Boston Independent Drivers Guild, Massachusetts Drivers United, and MIDG, or Massachusetts Independent Drivers Guild. So thanks so much for being here in solidarity. We do want to we also have a very powerful friend in friendship, the Director of National Posh, Marcy, if you can join us here for a moment. Excuse me, we have Al Vega with Mascot first. I apologize.
So thank you so much. My name is Al Vega. I'm the Director of Policy and Programs at Mascot, the Massachusetts Coalition for Occupational Safety and Health. We are a 46-year-old worker safety and health rights nonprofit that formed after the passing of the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970. We're also one of 26 affiliates of National Posh, which you'll hear more of from my colleague Marcy. I'm also a proud member of Steelworkers Local 9358. At Mascot, we believe all workers should be able to go to work, treated with dignity and respect, and be able to go home, back to their home, free of workplace injury and illness. In general, under state and federal labor laws, most workers are entitled to a range of labor protections, including minimum wage, paid sick leave, safe workplaces, the ability to join or form a union, as well as things like healthcare and unemployment and work compensation. But what we also know is that today, big tech giants and corporations like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and Instacart want to continue misclassifying their employees as independent contractors and make it as difficult as possible for their app-based workers to access any of these benefits. When workers are misclassified as independent contractors, this not only affects their wages and taxes, but it also endangers their health and safety, as gig companies by law are not required to follow the same OSHA regulations to ensure worker safety or even provide workers' comp should one of their drivers become injured while on the job. The report being shared today by our allies at Gig Workers Rising highlights just some of those incidents in the gig economy of workplace violence, injuries, assaults, and in the worst cases, deaths that we believe were preventable across this nation over the last 5 years. And we know that there are many more that just aren't reported or acknowledged. On top of this, these same companies are now pushing a ballot initiative in our state that will go a step further by legally removing their liability and accountability to customers and the public for injuries, deaths as a result of car accidents, attacks, or sexual assault.
Workplace injuries and even fatalities are not uncommon in this industry. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, rideshare drivers have been particularly hit hard by occupational exposure to the virus and have sadly also been the victims of numerous workplace incidents. Our organization honors workers lost on the job each year. Sadly, there are always workers from the gig economy that are included on our list of fallen workers that we publish in our annual Dying to Work report and meet during our annual ceremony. 75-year-old Henry Miller was a Massachusetts driver who was carjacked and beaten to death in 2018 while working for Uber. Raymond Holloway Creighton was murdered while doing Grubhub delivery on a scooter that same year. Another young worker, Antoine Wright Davis, just 19, was killed in 2017 when a dump truck hit him while doing a bike delivery for DoorDash. In all of these cases, none of these families received the full workers' compensation death benefits that other working families are entitled to when losing a loved one who dies on the job. Gig companies have worked exceptionally hard at avoiding responsibility for either their workers or the general public's health and safety. If this pandemic has taught us anything, it is that we must make all workplaces safer, which will keep customers and members of the public safe as well. When workers aren't afforded these protections to reduce their risk to this violence, not only can they be injured or in worst cases die, but it leaves friends and families dealing with funeral expenses as well as the trauma, mental, and physical health issues that last for years. Gig companies should not be allowed to use loopholes and change laws in their favor to skirt federal and state labor laws that we know are necessary to keep workers safe. As we know, our state is just the next target, and these companies will continue to throw lots of money to confuse our communities and hit us against each other as a fight between choosing flexibility and having certain workers' rights and benefits, and that should never be the case. We cannot let them do to us what sadly has happened in California. So this fall, let us ensure by voting against this initiative, should it still be on the ballot, and send a clear message to workers that they will be protected and treated like the essential employees these companies depend on. So let's make sure they play by the rules and follow and don't change existing laws here in our state that makes it less safe for workers and might sadly result in more names being added to the future list of fallen workers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody here and the wonderful gig workers who come today, taking time out of their schedules where they need to earn a living to be here with us. And throughout the pandemic, I was pleased to say, like many of you, turned to gig workers if we wanted something to eat. We didn't want to get sick going to a restaurant or to a supermarket. I might not have wanted to take the T instead of turning to a gig worker so that I didn't be exposed to other riders. How many of you here were in that situation? Yet when gig workers become sick, unlike me, as Al mentioned, they're not entitled to medical treatment. And when they unfortunately too often die, they're not entitled to burial benefits through workers' compensation. All across the country, gig workers, drivers, delivery people came to our Kosh group, like Mass Kosh, in a desperate situation with an unfathomable choice: either feed your family or put your lives at risk. This is not something that we should be accepting. And we know that Black and brown workers were far likely to rely on gig work to survive and feed their families. According to a Pew study, 30% of Latinx adults earn their living through gig work. 20% of African Americans, 19% of Asian Americans, and 12% of white adults. While I, like many of you, can demand the right for our employer to provide a safe workplace, guaranteed under the Federal Safety and Health Act, not one gig worker can. According to, again, a Pew study, 35% of gig workers feel unsafe when they go out to work every single day, and 19% experience an unwanted sexual advance. They have good reason for being afraid. As Gig Workers Rising report pointed out, there's a growing number of carjacking, verbal abuse, assault, sexual harassment becoming more and more commonplace. The Gig Worker report also included several startling police reports like this one in St. Louis. Officers received a call for a shooting that just occurred. found the victim in the driver's seat of a parked car, the lift light on the front dash. While at the scene, detectives spoke of recent carjackings of Uber drivers, one at the same address. Multi-billion-dollar gig companies are pouring money to legislative and ballot campaigns all across the country to keep their record-breaking profits at the expense of workers' lives. I have seen those ads touting that workers want flexibility and freedom. And what I have to say is, don't lie to us. Workers never should have to choose between flexibility or your life. As Al mentioned, on April 28th, around the world, we'll join together to commemorate Workers' Memorial Day, and too many gig workers' names will be read. It's our obligation to not just mourn their loss, but to stop the slaughter by defending gig workers' right to labor protections and essential benefits, and stop the type of legislation and ballot questions that are happening here in Massachusetts and all across the country. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. That was very powerful testimony. I'd like to invite Andy, who's with La Colaborativa. Shout out to y'all. He's worked just about every type of one of these apps.
Woo!
Hello, everyone. My name is Andy Ramos. La Colaborativa and the Stop Coalition. And I'm here for supporting and we need to change the corporate policy. My family, like many others, were affected by the pandemic. We did some of our jobs, and where platforms like Uber and Lyft or Nash were basically our new 9 to 5. And the majority of my family had to support themselves to these platforms, working 12-hour shifts, exchanging shifts with each other just to sustain ourselves through the pandemic, because this is something drastically changing in our economy. Driving through the basic goals to provide for our homes was definitely something that really new to me and all my family. Never really leave healthy. It's kind of to think about all the things that we had to do for our lives to just take them and put them out there like that. But yeah, not be acknowledged and work to that's really frustrating. But this is why we have these types of so all of our employees can be heard. All employees have rights. All employees have are people. And we need to protect our being from a city of Chelsea where everyone is, I would consider all of us warriors, but we all know how to hustle. But there's still not be a moment for our lives up there to be able to provide for our families.
Thank you. I think part of what we want to convey here, that was very powerful testimony. Part of what we want to convey here is that drivers aren't safe, nor are the passengers, right? If the worker's not safe, how is the consumer safe? So part of what we want to share here is an unfortunate story, but it needs to be shared, it needs to come to light. We're here with the sister of Will Good. Her name is Elizabeth Good, who came out here because her brother could not. You can join.
Thank you all for being here this afternoon. My name is Elizabeth Good, and I'm extremely proud to say that Will couldn't be with us today, but he did ask me to share his story with him. Almost 1 year ago, Uber's carelessness towards the safety of its passengers changed my brother Will's life and my life, our family's life. Will was a chef in Boston by day and played punk rock on weekends and weekends. He was 30 years old when the cruel negligence of a $1 billion company resulted in his being picked up by an Uber driver with a 25-year record of unsafe driving. A person who never should have been allowed to drive for Uber, but was on the road because these companies only care about their financial bottom line. Today, my brother is slowly picking up the pieces and learning to move forward. Anyone who's experienced a traumatic life-altering event like this might be expected to withdraw and focus solely on getting by, but that is not Will's life. Since he was a little kid, Will has always spoken up about the things he believes in, much to our chagrin at times. Uber's corporate negligence took away my brother's physical abilities, but they couldn't take away his voice or his incredible spirit. That's why I'm here with you today, in my brother's to serve as his. Here are the words we want to share. I'm living proof of the human cost of Uber's abandonment of driver and passenger. I'm sorry that I can't be with so much today. Ever since Uber put my life in the hands of an unsafe driver and caused me to suffer an accident, paralyzed, my days have been a constant blur of medical care and physical care. But through the fear, the pain, the strain, this burden is placed on me, my family, and friends, I am single-mindedly driven by one purpose, ensuring that companies like Uber are never able to ruin another person's life like this. I also want to be very clear. The day my Uber crashed into a parked car and made me quadriplegic, it wasn't only the driver. That driver had a 25-year history of unsafe driving. He should not have been on the road. Uber should not have let him drive their company. Uber is entirely responsible for putting a driver with a history of unsafe driving on the road. These corporations that are pushing this ballot question here in Massachusetts do not care about a single thing but their profit. If they can make an extra buck by putting one more driver on the road, or one more passenger for a ride, they will do it at any cost. Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, they are all pushing a ballot question in Massachusetts that would let them off the hook forever for the accidents, injuries, and deaths. It is unconscionable. Corporations that do business in Massachusetts or anywhere have a responsibility to ensure the safety of their workers and the people who use their services. Every other company in our state is required to follow those laws. And now Uber and Lyft are coming in and saying they don't want the rules to apply to them. Uber took from me the ability to do a job I love. The company took away my ability to hug my partner, my family and friends, to play guitar, and to go for a walk in my city. No one should have these essential joys ripped by a company that doesn't give a damn about it. I'm calling on Massachusetts voters to vote no on Uber and Lyft's proposed ballot question. Don't let these companies get away with risking our safety. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Elizabeth, for joining us. I know that's not easy to share your story. We just want to have a moment of silence for all the workers who have lost their lives and also the consumers who have been injured or are now less safe than ever. Thank you. I'm going to invite now a good sister. She's driven for Uber and Lyft. And she's endured some back injuries on the job. She's going to speak in Spanish. I'm going to do a quick summary in English. But she was kind enough to make her way here, even though her legs aren't working as well as they should. So we're really thankful to you. Her name is Sandra. Tú puedes venir.
Buenos días, gracias. Y gracias por la oportunidad. He venido hoy a prácticamente en un momento un poco difícil porque estaba en situación. Quise apoyar a todos los que trabajan dando el servicio de manejar de transportación y estoy aquí. Pero no solamente estoy aquí por mí, porque soy parte de Uber y equipo. Y desafortunadamente tuve que dejar el trabajo porque tuve una condición de hipertensión intracraneal ocular. Fui una de las drivers, mujer primera en las dos compañías. Y lejos de recibir apoyo de estas compañías, pues simplemente recibí la espalda. Mientras tuve el problema de la hipertensión.
transición, tuve que durar un año oso, en donde ninguna de las dos compañías dio support a mi condición. Entonces, eh, ha sido muy difícil, pero no ha sido imposible volver a estar otra vez de pie y trabajar. No sigo trabajando en la misma compañía, lo cual yo hago otro trabajo también, pero yo le exhorto a los dueños de compañía que se pongan a pensar por un momento por esas personas que están al volante día a día poniendo su vida en riesgo, sin saber si van a regresar a su casa con vida. Y esto lo digo porque en uno de los días de trabajo, yo fui hacia la más app y monté 3 estudiantes borrachos para llevarlo a Boston College. Y todo el trayecto fue de discriminación, de abuso, al punto que tuve que dejar a estas personas a mitad de camino. Y ni siquiera tuve ayuda de las autoridades, aún llamándolas. Y con esto no digo que el servicio de emergencia no sea efectivo, porque realmente lo es. Pero en ese momento nadie estuvo para apoyarme. Y la compañía que estaba sujeta a darme support no estuvo, ni ese día ni después. Nosotros estamos expuestos a muchas dificultades y a muchos abusos. Cuando los clientes llaman por X o tal razón, ellos paran al conductor sin saber la realidad de lo que pasó y sin interesarse qué pasó, sin saber si uno necesita continuar trabajando para pagar algún bien. A esto agrego de que no tenemos apoyo de ninguna autoridad. Y ahora con esta nueva ley que quieren implementar, nosotros vamos a salir muy afectados y vamos a ser aplastados. Nosotros necesitamos leyes que protejan al trabajador, porque nosotros somos lo que cuidamos el día a día de los trabajadores que tienen que presentarse a sus trabajos. Nosotros somos la parte más afectada y nadie lo está mirando. Si nosotros nos unimos y decidimos no ofrecer el servicio, yo estoy segura de que vamos a hacer un impacto económico fuerte en esta sociedad. Y que en ese momento los dueños de grandes compañías sentirán el peso de la mano trabajadora que realmente ellos necesitan cuidar. Porque, ok, ellos tienen el dinero, pero nosotros tenemos la fuerza. Nosotros tenemos el poder de poder crecer su dinero sin que ellos tengan que estar al frente del volante. Nosotros somos la parte que somos responsables a que ellos estén de saco y corbata, mientras nosotros estamos haciendo el trabajo sucio, el trabajo que nadie quiere hacer. Aparte de esto, quiero agregar también que sería bueno que ellos se pongan a pensar que no siempre la parte que está haciendo el trabajo sucio es ignorante, porque todos los que estamos haciendo Uber Eats, nosotros tenemos carreras, nosotros tenemos inteligencia, solo que queremos avanzar en nuestros ideales. Y encontramos esta parte como una ayuda que al mismo tiempo nos ayuda, porque nosotros pagamos los taxes que ellos están supuestos a pagar. Sin ni siquiera nosotros recibir ninguna remuneración a cambio, sin nosotros recibir servicios de medicinas, médicos, sin tener el apoyo de nadie. Y eso hace que cada día su emporio engorde más y nosotros estemos más aplastados día a día. Sería bueno que todos esos representantes de todas las ciudades se pongan a pensar y a trabajar por y para nosotros, el pueblo que lo ha elegido y lo ha puesto a cada uno de ellos ahí, para que ellos estén luchando por leyes que realmente protejan al trabajador, por leyes que realmente ofrezcan beneficios en pos de salir todos con un residual
igual para cada persona. Y no solamente sea para que la parte rica todos los días sea más rica y tenga el pie puesto más y más encima de lo que le llaman la prole, que somos nosotros, que somos la clase minoritaria. Es triste ver que día a día nosotros estamos luchando por salir adelante y que hay un grupo empujando a pisarnos día a día y a ponernos más hacia abajo, sin darnos la oportunidad de expresarnos y de seguir lo que cada uno de nosotros merece. Yo le exhorto a todas esas personas que salen a trabajar sin discriminar ningún tipo de trabajo que ejerzan, porque por muy insignificante que fuese, usted es importante, usted tiene que creérselo y tiene que demostrarlo con su trabajo, con su dignidad, pero sobre todo solicitando la parte que usted merece, porque cada uno de nosotros tiene precio, es cierto, y es invaluable. Vamos a ponerle un alto hoy y vamos a exigir nuestro derecho. Vamos a decirle no a esta ley que están tratando de pasar, que nos aplasta a cada uno de nosotros en todos los sentidos de nuestros trabajos. Buenos días, muchas gracias.
Gracias.
I can't do justice what she just shared, but I'll try my best to summarize. Sandra here has been a long-time driver for Uber and Lyft. Due to hypertension, she couldn't drive and had to rest her body for about a year. But she feels like every day she was taking her life on the road just to make a few dollars. She was at one point driving 3 drunk Boston College students who were racist, harassing her, and she had to stop halfway through the ride because she didn't feel safe and called the authorities, and law enforcement didn't show up. And when she called Uber and Lyft, they didn't provide any support to her, not that night and not the day after. She also mentioned how she's against this law, and she wonders why are they working to smash the people that make their business model possible? Why are they trying to smash the working class? She said that just because they're drivers doing the dirty work, it doesn't mean that they're ignorant and that they don't have ideals and ambition and dreams. And to end on one specific note, she wants our leaders, our elected leaders, to do the right thing and actually protect people, actually do what their job is, which is represent and work for the working class. So we can just thank you so much. We're so blessed to have you today. Thank you, Sasha. I just want to close with one more Uber driver. Is that okay? We heard a lot of testimony today, but we want to uplift the story of someone who's also done this for a while. He has a background in the cab industry, and I see how these companies have taken away these protections and basic benefits. His name is Rahim, and I have the honor to call my colleague. If you could please join us, Rahim.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming out today. In every job you start, you pull out an emergency contact report. And honest to God, this is the first job where I never knew if I would come home or not. I dread to think of the time my parents or my sister saying I didn't make it home. But knowing these companies, they probably sent an email with. You know, truly shame what's going on with working people in this country. We can't catch a break. It's a war on the working class. What do we get for busting our humps all day and all night? To bring, like the folks from Nashville said, while everybody was working from home, the big wigs are working from home. We're out there on the road. We're out there on the streets, trying to make a living, to provide you with services that you need, rights to go to work, rights to go get food, things like that. We're essential workers as well. You know, what's the difference between me and the nurse I'm taking in my back seat going to work? They're an essential worker and so am I. We can't let things keep going as they are. If this bill goes through, if this initiative goes through, it could be a disaster. How many more people are going to get in there? How many more consumers? Isn't it clear that worker safety is consumer safety? How many more people are going to keep asking yourself that question? Thank you so much. Take care.